Wanna speak English? Learn phrases and speak from day one. Listen and repeat.
I was walking to school when it started to rain. She was cooking dinner while he was setting the table. They were playing soccer in the park yesterday. We were watching a movie when the power went out. He was driving too fast when the police stopped him. The baby was crying all night. I was studying for my exam at midnight. She was reading a book by the fireplace. They were dancing all night at the wedding. We were talking about you yesterday. He was sleeping during the meeting. She was painting the wall when I arrived. I was listening to music when you called. They were waiting for the bus in the rain. We were cleaning the house all morning. He was running when he twisted his ankle. She was writing a letter to her friend. I was making coffee when the phone rang. They were shouting at each other. We were laughing at his jokes. He was fixing the car in the garage. She was singing in the shower. I was drawing a picture for my class. They were working on their project all day. We were having lunch when it started snowing. He was playing video games all afternoon. She was shopping at the mall. I was feeding the dog. They were swimming in the lake. We were looking for our keys. He was helping his mom in the kitchen. She was practicing the piano. I was reading the newspaper. They were riding their bikes. We were building a sandcastle. He was taking a nap. She was teaching her little brother. I was ironing my clothes. They were chatting online. We were searching for information. He was brushing his teeth. She was waiting at the bus stop. I was packing my suitcase. They were planting trees. We were checking our answers. He was painting a landscape. She was explaining the rules. I was watching birds from the window. They were playing cards. We were arranging the chairs. He was boiling water. She was learning French. I was watering the plants. They were traveling across Europe. We were climbing the hill. He was sketching in his notebook. She was fixing her hair. I was walking my dog. They were drinking lemonade. We were discussing the problem. He was drawing on the board. She was organizing her files. I was counting the money. They were shouting with excitement. We were getting ready for school. He was updating the software. She was applying makeup. I was polishing my shoes. They were wrapping gifts. We were downloading a movie. He was taking photos. She was baking cookies. I was waiting outside. They were rehearsing for the play. We were stretching before the run. He was checking his messages. She was vacuuming the floor. I was reading my notes. They were running around the yard. We were going over the instructions. He was installing a new app. She was browsing the internet. I was learning to drive. They were preparing the meal. We were writing our essays. He was opening the window. She was tidying her room. I was wearing my new jacket. They were making plans. We were drawing maps. He was sharpening his pencil. She was riding her horse. I was tying my shoes. They were doing homework. We were listening to the radio. He was adjusting the mirror. She was sketching a portrait. I was setting the alarm. They were celebrating a birthday. We were studying together. He was mailing a letter. She was sewing a dress. I was opening a gift. They were laughing loudly. We were trying to fix the printer. He was mowing the lawn. She was folding the laundry. I was learning a new word. They were visiting their grandparents. We were walking on the beach. He was fixing his watch. She was eating apple. I was practicing yoga. They were enjoying the sunset. We were planning a surprise. He was petting the cat. She was painting her nails. I was working on a puzzle. They were watching cartoons. We were shopping for groceries. He was explaining his idea. She was reading aloud. I was texting my friend. They were making noise. We were preparing breakfast. He was charging his phone. She was calling her sister. I was holding my breath. They were shouting instructions. We were writing on the whiteboard. He was riding a scooter. She was applying for a job. I was fixing my bike. They were dancing.